when you're writing a book, have your reader in mind. Because even though you want to write the book and you have the drive to write the book, you always think, who's going to be reading this? How are they feeling when they're reading this? What do you want them to know? And what do you want them to do?
You are now listening to the podcast where authors inspire listeners to become authors, the Going North Podcast. I'm your host, certified self-leadership trainer, best-selling author, and book enthusiast, DomBrightmon. And you're going to be listening to a different author that will inspire you to join the business of immortality, known as authorship. Now let the fun begin. Today's episode is sponsored by book number 2 from DomBrightmon, Stay the Course, The Elite Performer's 7 Secret Keys to Sustainable Success. It is the field guide to help unleash the elite performer that is inside of you. Cop it today on Amazon.com or heading over to DomBrightmon.com and snag it in book, ebook, and audiobook, so that way you can take it on the go and get yourself on the go to your northbound success. And today on the highlight reel, builder for authors known as the Going North Podcast, aka GMP, the Great, Glorious, and Glamorous, we got another super special, awesome human for you today that can fit all 3 of those G's, courtesy of the best website known to man for podcast guests, known as podmatch.com. That's right, indeed. It's where podcast guests get to connect with podcast hosts, and if they're cool, they're freaking in. And today's guest is cooler than 7 cucumbers. That's right, indeed. And I'm like, dang, Dom, like I thought the joke was cooler than 2 cucumbers. And it's like, it's a rare occasion where someone breaks through the coolness meter and gets past 2. Well, yeah, today's guest is lucky 7 indeed, because today's wonderful guest is the award-winning author, y'all. She's won awards for her wonderful writing, and she's not only a wonderful writer, she's a copywriter, email marketer, a wonderful wife of 8+ years and counting, and she's also a numismatist. I butchered that. Well, she could tell us more about what the heck that freaking is. So let's give it up for the sensational and the wonderful, courageous, the fabulous Stephanie Cansian. How you doing today, Steph?
I am doing fabulously, Dom. Thank you so much for having me on here.
Woohoo! That's right, indeed. That's right, indeed. It's been fun in the bud. I'm like, yay! All right. She's got a weight loss story. She's got a positive attitude. It's like, all right, this is gonna be freaking great. And she's got a book, sure. So she already got past the gate when it comes to getting on the show. She has a book.
That's true. I'm holding it right now in my hand. Notes on my own book. What does that say about me?
That's a good thing. That means you like to go back over your work. That means you're not one of the actors that doesn't want to look back over their work and be mortified.
That is true. That is true. I'm sure someday I'll be mortified by this book, but right now I'm still really proud of it, still learning from it, and looking forward to the next one.
There we go. Indeed. That's what I'm talking about. Indeed. Well, it ain't just about books. It's about the superstar Steph herself. So my goodness, as with all introductions, they're not allowed to be 87.93 thousand years long. They're probably only covered, I don't know, 3 hours. So my goodness, am I filling in any cavities I may have missed about you, Stephanie?
So the word is numismatist, and that is a very fancy term for a person who collects coins and old currency. So I have been collecting coins since I was a child. I got into it by my great uncle. It was one of those things he kind of passed down, and I was the only one who was interested in it. So I took over the collection. It's one of those little known facts about me because I'm not a super active numismatist, but it's something I do enjoy. It's why I still pay cash for things, because occasionally you'll come across either an old penny or an old quarter or sometimes an old bill, and you'll be like, oh, this is really cool. And it just is a highlight of the day. Little other fun fact, my favorite currency is the $2 bill. I love paying with $2 bills because the reaction you get on people's faces is priceless. All of that has nothing to do about my book, but that was a blank to fill in.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about. We love filling blanks. I feel bad too because I pronounced that darn name with the Google pronunciation assessment says like, "Yeah, I'm gonna get this," and then of course, copy and paste the bio and the word to make it easy for me to read, and butchered it still. So I guess the vegans are mad now. Numismatist, right?
Numismatist, yes. Why is it called vegans when it should be vegans?
Ah, vegans.
I mean, they're vegetables. Why aren't they vegans? I have nothing against vegans, vegans, or any other diet people. It's just a puzzling etymology, is that the word? For the study of words and where they come from. So I'll have to Google that when we're done.
Yeah, you have no idea. You just gave me another weapon to fire. All right, cool. Vegans. Any vegans out there? It'd be like the hell a vegan. You mean vegan? Oh yeah, that yeah. Vegans. You mean Miracle Whip? Cool Whip? Like no, vegans. Oh man, oh man. So my goodness, and heck, even a $2 bill thing, and funny enough, that could probably tie into your fabulous book indeed. So what led you to put a wonderful book together and join the business of immortality?
So the book actually combines with the whole weight loss story. So 2021, we're a year into the thing. I'm feeling down. I'm feeling like life is just not going my way. I look at myself in the mirror and I say, something's got to change. This can't be as good as it gets. I turn my life around. I wind up losing 30 pounds. I get my diet in order. And I'm feeling so good about life that I wrote the first draft of my book, Change the World in $10 or Less, in less than a month. I was so in flow state that I wrote this thing in like less than a month. I then had to go through all these little parts of myself that were terrified about putting it out there. Like I knew I wanted to write it. I knew I had something good, but I had to like do battle with these parts of myself. They're like, oh man, should I publish? Should I go with an agent? Should I do this, that, the other thing? I don't know. And eventually I said, you know what? I'm doing this myself. This was my idea. I'm going to see it through to the end and I will learn something in the process. And I did. I learned a lot about self publishing in the process. I learned a lot about myself, self publishing my book, and just so many things that were holding me back from becoming a writer, something that I'd always wanted to do. And all of this went along with that 30-pound weight loss and getting the rest of my life in order. Suddenly, all these things started falling into place. And now my book's on Amazon.
It's right indeed, because yeah, it's right indeed. Folks are based talking about freshman 15 and COVID 21, and heck, it's probably COVID 21 plus indeed, especially yours.
Mhm.
It's really too, and then
Oh,
being
yeah.
able to get past the yo-yo swag and be like, all right, cool. The yo-yo's staying down this time, dang gummit. It's staying down.
Oh, I was done with the yo yo. I yo-yoed my whole life. I'm like, I'm done with this. There's got to be an answer that I could live with, that I won't like hit a weight and be like, oh, I'm done. I can go back to doing what I was doing before. And no, like I was done with that. I was done with that life. So I figured out what would work. And everything I learned in the process, I wrote in my book in the form of little stories, little adages, things to basically take people just slightly out of the comfort zone just so they can kickstart their own revolution in the way that feels most natural and most empowering to them. That was the whole purpose. No matter who you are, where you are in your life, I want you to be able to pick up my book, turn to a random page, and be able to say, yeah, I could do that. That could be cool. And then go forth and do it and feel really good that you have taken ownership and control of your life in a way that's good and natural for you.
Ah, good natural indeed. That's right indeed. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe picking up a random tarot deck for fun was one of the tips from the book. So did that help with the weight loss as well?
Not with the weight loss, but typically when I get stuck in my own head, it's like I need some sort of randomness in my life to kind of let me know what I really want. If anybody out there has read the Batman comic, you know the villain Two-Face, he flips the coin to decide whether the person lives or doesn't live. It's like you insert that randomness because you're not sure which path you want to take. Well, in regular human words, you can flip that coin and whatever it comes up with, that first gut reaction you get to what the coin tells you, that's what you're really feeling. do I want to do this? Do I not want to do this? Let's flip the coin. As the comes up, don't do this, and you're like, oh, that means you really wanted to do the thing. So inserting that little bit of randomness and then really getting in touch with that gut reaction actually tells you a lot about what you're really thinking. That for some reason you're keeping on the back burner for whatever reason. So inserting a little bit of randomness into your life, I think, is a huge help, especially if you're not sure which direction you want to go. It kind of helps you key into what you're really feeling.
Ah, there you go. That's right. Making Alicia proud by keying in what you really love to do, what you really want to do. That's right. Indeed. That's right.
Hmm.
Indeed. That's right. Indeed. Won't even need a piano either. That's
Don't
right.
even need a
Indeed.
piano. You could use a coin, you can use a tarot deck, you can use literally like anything where you're going to say, I'm inserting this randomness into my life and I'm going to see what the answer is. Then I'm going to see how I feel about that answer. That's the second piece.
Ah, meow indeed, meow indeed. So my goodness, what was the process like for putting this book together with all the tips as opposed to going with a wonderful biography instead or a memoir and instead of the weight loss journey, finally getting it down to where it's like, yeah, I'm freaking Wonder Woman now.
I knew I wanted to write a book that would help people. And I knew that I wanted to write a book about these experiences that I was having that were life changing for me, that kind of exemplified these points in my life where I took control of where my life was going, even in the smallest and simplest of ways. And so I figured the best way to do that and the easiest to format would be just a list of like 100 actionable tips. So list books I knew were popular. I'd done my little market research. So I did my first draft, took me about a month. And then it was just a matter of, okay, now I need an editor to make sure my words are good. And I need somebody to make it look pretty. Because since the words are short, it's got to look really good. And I knew that I wanted a lot of white space in the book. So that way, if you got a print copy of it, you could write and journal in it and talk about your experiences and get in touch with that inner feeling that you get when you do these tips. I wanted that to be a big deal. So I got myself an editor and I found a company that I love what they did. And over the course of like 8 months, we put this thing together. And a lot of it was me. A lot of it was me being really scared that this wasn't going to work out. What was I expecting from this? What did I really want? Going back and forth with myself, holding up the production on this until finally I said, I want to put out this book. I don't care what it does. All if it changes one person's life, I'll be happy. And at that point, when I made that decision, then the rest was easy and it was out on Amazon like 4 months later. So once you make the decision, the rest is easy. It's getting to that point where you're committing. That's the hard part where you have to battle your own mind sometimes.
Ah, that's right indeed. That's right indeed. Because, yeah, that's the thing that a lot of folks struggle with, just getting in our own ways sometimes. It's like, man, it's like, I think I'm trying to get off these ways. And it's like, oh, man, they must have heard the plan of salvation. They become Christian. They have everlasting life. And it's like, dude, the weight's got to go. It's like, oh, I got to get to this next level of life. It's like, oh, I'm still stuck here. It's like, God, got to get out of here. How do I get out the box? Jesus.
Uh, the hardest thing to do is to decide what to focus on. And like when I started this whole weight loss food change thing, all I knew was that I was tired of like having to buy stuff like sliders for the floor and bands for the ceiling and all this stuff. I was tired of toys. I wanted to do something that I could do while I was at my desk job anytime without any equipment. Like as long as I was just alive and had a few minutes, I wanted to be able to get this workout in. So I wound up committing to learning to do 100 burpees. And that was it. That was all I did. Every day I would just practice burpees. And I didn't need any toys. I didn't need to sign up for any videos. I didn't need a trainer. All I needed to do was just practice. And once I started getting good, then I said, oh, I could get better if I ate better. So let me start eating better. And then I started eating better. And then my brain got better because I was eating better. And then I was doing exercise. And I was feeling very proud of myself. And then that started just spitting out into my whole life, where suddenly I just saw that anybody could change their lives as long as one day they sat down and said, I'm going to do this. Today, I am making that decision. I am sticking with it, and nothing is going to stop me. So that's what I did. I wound up making my goal. I did the 100 burpees. I lost the weight. My eating improved, and I love it. Like, I'm one of those people who is really happy with the way that I eat. So, and I never hear that. I never hear anybody say that they're happy with the way that they eat. It's always like, well, I do this, that, that. No, I eat and I enjoy what I eat, and it fuels my life. And that's what it's supposed to do. Like, so I never hear people say that, except me. I do. So I want to incorporate food and food adventures into this book because that's part of it, but without making it the sole focus of it. Because part of being comfortable with changing your life, changing your eating habits, is to recognize that there is no morality in food. There are no good foods, bad foods. There's only foods that will nourish you and foods that will make you sick. And you avoid the foods that will make you sick. That's it. That's the rule. Like, if it's going to make you sick, don't eat it. There is a great quote from Terry Pratchett that says, all mushrooms are edible, but some are only edible once. So you want to avoid those. So it's getting out of that mindset that, like, society has put on us, that, like, oh, you deserve a treat. You deserve a treat. Like, no, just eat food. Like, eat food that makes you feel good. That's it. If you know you're going to eat the thing and wake up tomorrow feeling gross, don't eat the thing. Like, it's not worth it. Don't sacrifice your future happiness for, like, I don't know, a fried taco or something. I don't know, whatever it is. I don't even know if they make deep fried tacos. Do they? They sound delicious, but if it's going to make you sick, don't eat
I mean, if they can fry freaking Kool-Aid balls and watermelon, I'm sure they can fry tacos somewhere.
I saw fried butter at a fair once, and I said, that is intriguing and not for me. I couldn't. Deep fried butter. I was like, brilliant, but no thank you. I'm going to wait. Maybe someday.
Well, one of my one-liners just got a new level. Be better and not butter. In this case, be better and not deep fried butter. But I love what you said there about food fueling your life. That's right, indeed, because that's the part that sometimes folks tend to forget, or they just be like, "Oh, it's fueling my life, all right. It's fueling the freaking emotions." Indeed, it's like, "Yeah, baby,
Mm-hmm.
food, come to me." That's right,
Yep.
indeed. See it at all the tables. That's right, indeed. Who needs to lift weights? Lift tables. That's right, indeed.
Oh, oh. No, I used to be one of those. I used to be I'm feeling sad. Let me eat a thing and feel better and eat for my emotions. And I'd say now, like, I'm 80/20. 80% of the time I can catch myself and not do that. And 20% of the time I eat the ice cream and the cookies. But you know what? It's fine. It's all fine. I don't feel guilt. I don't feel bad. It's like, okay, this was a thing that happened. Tomorrow I can make a change. Not a big deal. We're human. We're not perfect. Don't We shouldn't expect ourselves to be perfect. As long as most of the time we're doing the right thing, then we're doing the right thing.
That's what I'm talking about. Indeed, I'm talking about indeed. So the 100 burpees a day, is that something that you do now still to this day?
I can. I stopped. So let's see. I got to 100 burpees a day by the end of 2021. By the end of 2022, I was doing 100 burpees every day. And then 2023, I was doing 100 burpees every day, which I documented on my Instagram until I literally got bored of burpees sometime in June. And then I switched over to strength training and I started doing deadlifts, squats, and overhead presses because that was the next mountain to climb. My real next mountain to climb is I want to be able to do chin ups. I want to be able to just lift myself up anytime I need to and not have to worry about it. And the deadlifts actually help with the chin up. So the two tie together. So I'll do them both. But no, I can still bang out 100 burpees if I'm bored. Takes me about 20 minutes.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about indeed. That's what I'm talking about indeed. So that means the burpee gods are happy. She pays tribute to them daily. At least at one
I
point.
do. I do. You can see it on my Instagram. I also put a YouTube video out in case people were not convinced that I could do 100 burpees. I put a YouTube video out of me doing 100 burpees outside in real time. It comes in, I think, at like 19 minutes, something like that.
That's what I'm talking about indeed. That's what I'm talking about indeed. Funny enough, I used to joke with my good old personal trainer when I was doing CrossFit at his CrossFit box when he would randomly call out us to do burpees during kickboxing class after doing a set of strikes or whatever. And I'd be like, oh, darn it. He probably didn't reach his quota to keep the gym open again. That's why we're doing the burpees.
Okay. Disclaimer. All right. So, disclaimer, I do not do CrossFit burpees. I do not include the jump because I think the jump is dumb. I will squat down, I'll kick back, I'll do the push up, I'll kick in, I'll come back up. I will not do the jump. The jump is done. You do not get the return on your energy expense from the jump. So I won't do it.
So no jumping around, huh?
No, no, no jumping around. No, I'd rather do parkour than just do some random jumps all over the place. Like, give me like something to aim for. Don't just have me randomly jump in the air for no reason.
Oh, parkour. Okay. So, have you played Assassin's Creed in the past? Have out of curiosity.
I I have not. Sadly, I am still working on Kingdom Hearts 3. I'm a very slow gamer.
Oh, okay. Because I would have been like, oh, shoot, she said parkour. Maybe her and her husband dressed up as assassins for Halloween one day.
I'll have to tell him that. Yeah, he'd be down for that.
That's right, indeed. Let's go out and desynchronize some people. Let me stop. Let me stop. Don't do that, folks.
No,
if you
no,
if you
no,
don't get
no.
the
We don't
reference, don't worry
desynchronize.
about it. Don't worry about it. But I will say, if you see somebody with a big piece of pottery on their head, just knock them over. That'll help you get desynchronized. Well, it'll help you and them get desynchronized.
Because we see people walking around with pottery on their heads all the time here. Like, I don't know about you guys. It's just commonplace.
Sorry, indeed. Sorry, indeed. The podcast where things get popped in out of nowhere. Synchronicity is on fleek here. That's right, indeed. That's right, indeed. So, my goodness, I know you brought in a mindset coach to help you out too. So, do you do coaching as well, or is that something you plan on doing in the future for other humans who want to uplevel their lives?
Oh, no, I do coaching. I coach for two specific things. If people want to learn how to do burpees and manage their food, I coach them with that because that's something I spend a lot of time on. It's something that I'm very passionate about because when I was learning to do burpees, I did them wrong and I got injured. So now it's like I want to teach people like how to do them correctly because it will serve them better in life. And the other thing I coach in is how to write emails because I came from corporate America and there were so many instances of absolutely terrible emails that I would go to my coworkers and say, "Do you want me to read this over? Because there are some errors here." And I'm not like a grammar stickler, like anything like that. I'm just talking like, punctuation is a gift. It, it allows the reader to pause, reflect on what you just said. It's good and natural, and you should use it along with capital letters, things like that. So I coach people on how to basically write emails, whether it's for a single audience, for a wider audience, because terrible emails are something that I can't stand reading. And if I can help scrub them away, that would be even better. And that's just something that I picked up on when I had an author friend ask me to help her with her newsletter because she was writing a newsletter, wasn't really getting the reach she wanted. So I said, "Yeah, I can help you out." Made a couple of tweaks. She started getting read more. It was great. She recommended me to some other author friends, and before you know it, I'm teaching authors how to write emails. So I thought, why not? Keep it up. I'm eliminating terrible emails from the world. I'm doing the service, and it's good. But mostly, I'm coaching on. So if you're an author who needs help with emails, I'm your girl. But if you just want help with burpees, with diet, I got you covered there too.
There you go. She's a walking blanket in those areas, y'all. That's right indeed.
I
She's
have
got you
32
covered.
flavors, as Ani DeFranco says. So I just have a whole hodgepodge of interests, skills, and knowledge.
There you go. She'll have you zipping around like a hedgehog, y'all. That's right indeed. That's right indeed. That's right indeed.
Gotta
With
get
all
those
the expertise.
gotta get those rings. That's what it's all about, right?
Ah, yes, ma'am, indeed. Yes, ma'am, indeed. It is so right because, yeah, my day job, we jokers, some folks joke around. It's like, yep, we got to say this in the meeting because we already know you didn't read your emails. And it's like, I read them. I just have fatigue from them.
Yep.
They just, it's like I look at them, they go in the head, but they don't
They
stay in
go in
the
the eyes and out the ears, and it's done. Like you're done. You can't read 500 terrible emails in a day. It doesn't work. But then you have a meeting that could have been an email, and you're like, this is a terrible waste of my time. I could be doing something productive. So actually,
uh,
I wrote an article about that top 3 reasons when a meeting should be an email because I
there you
wanted to
go.
help corporate America do better.
Yes, yes, indeed. Yeah, it's like, yep, this should have been an email. Like you wasted everyone's time here. So my goodness, so helping folks to save time, what would probably be a 3 top tips for writing better emails?
Top 3 tips for writing better emails. Number one, always think of what you want your reader to feel, what you want your reader to know, and what you want your reader to do. You have an objective for writing this email. You know the reason why you're writing this email. You have to think on the other end of that screen, there is a person who you need to get into their head. So you have to think about them. How are they feeling right now when they receive your email? What do you need for them to know? So that way they can do the thing that you need them to do. And then overall, is the email you're about to send going to somehow add value to their life, either informationally or just aesthetically? Like, is it just a funny meme or something to make them laugh? So always think in terms of your reader, always think in terms of value, and please keep it short and sweet because any email longer than 250 words is perceived as a time commitment and therefore should be a newsletter.
Yep, that's right indeed. The good old TLDR came full circle in 2020 for me. I was like, oh, now I know what the heck that means. And that is with some of these emails I'm seeing. I'm like, oh, am I even gonna read all this? Like, I probably
Right?
should, but I'm not.
Like, honestly, if you need to write that long email just for documentation purposes, put that TLDR at the bottom. Like, too long, didn't read. This doesn't work. Please fix it. Thanks. Like that. There it is. Because I know a lot of places still use email as their primary search directory where you have to put in all the keywords into the email so it can be searched for. But if you have that TLDR, like that could be your subject line. That way nobody has to read the whole thing unless they're invested in the thing that you're emailing about. So there's ways to make it happen. Again, trying to do the world a service by making emails better.
Amen to that. That's right indeed. Making them better and not deep fried butter.
Not deep fried butter, just better.
That's right indeed. That's right indeed. That's right indeed. So my goodness, since you're an email marketing expert, and that's probably one of the best ways to market when it comes to your business, how has it helped you with your fabulous book and your wonderful business indeed? Because that's something a lot of folks tend to forget, especially when they have the allure of social media, even though it's really a trap after some time when the algorithms change.
That is true. It as much as people try to avoid email, email is still king in terms of getting a hold of people. Second only to texting a person on their personal phone number. It's like if you're giving somebody your email address, that means you're serious about what they've got. And that's a responsibility that people need to take very seriously. Like, I have a system where if I think a company might spam me, I give them one email address. If I think that a company is reputable, reliable, and I want them to keep in touch with me, I give them another email address. And then figure out how right and wrong I am. I'm mostly right, just as an FYI. But I have that other email address set aside. So if I decide, like, oh, this company actually isn't so bad, I'll move them over to the first email. But if you're getting somebody's email address, if you've set up a landing page where you're asking them for their email address so they can download your free book, your free one sheet, your free program, whatever it is, take that responsibility very seriously and send value to them. It's not just your sounding board, it's not social media where you get to stand on a soapbox and blast people whose email addresses you have. You have to respect they have given you a close communication to them, and there's a boundary there, but there's also an allowance. So as long as you're good to them, they'll be good to you. Like, they'll expect an onboarding, they'll expect a welcome email. Like, that's all kind of, that's all kind of, standard. But after that, like, send value. And if what you're sending is just shameless self promotion, you got to send value. And there's different ways you can do that. You can make it aesthetically pleasing. Sometimes people want to write or look at a really happy email. You can make it very valuable in terms of knowledge, things that a person should know about that applies to their life. Sometimes it can be just as simple as, like, hey, guys, haven't written in a while. Here's a playlist I came up with. Enjoy your day, and send them some music to try out. Like, I've gotten emails like that and I really enjoy them. But always think of your reader. And when you're writing a book, have your reader in mind. Because even though you want to write the book and you have the drive to write the book, you always think, who's going to be reading this? How are they feeling when they're reading this? What do you want them to know? And what do you want them to do? It all comes full circle.
Ah, there you go. That's right indeed. Full pancake, full circle. That's right indeed. That's right indeed.
Got you started on those tacos and deep fried butter. Now we're on the pancakes. We, we are going through all the carbs tonight.
That's right, carb up.
Carb up, you're in for the long haul. All right.
But yeah, definitely so right about the email marketing piece too, and doing it the right way, like having the reader in mind, because you're so right. Because yeah, thing is, like if you give them their email, and if they gave you the good email address that they actually check and actually look forward to seeing your emails, and it's like you got to give them definite value, because you can't do the whole look at me, I got peacock feathers and a leather jacket with a crown made out of platinum and random wild thornberry kippers. It's like you got to give them something actually freaking deep.
Yeah, it's a different animal than social media. It can't be treated the same. A lot of people want to treat it the same. It's more, you got to tie it together. If you're doing a story on social media where you're documenting something, you got to tie that into your email, but you've got to document it in a way that's going to make it valuable for the person on your email list. Like, why should they bother? If they're not watching you on social media, why should they bother? Like, should they be concerned about this? Always think of your reader.
Okay, indeed. That's right, indeed. Definitely thank you for your reader, indeed. So, my goodness, so since you're going on all these magical interviews promoting the good work that you're doing on the magical blue earth, is there a question that you wish folks would ask you more often when you're on the guest side of the microphone?
Oh gosh, where do you get your ideas? Because so far I've only written one book, but I actually have a post-it posted by the side of my desk of all the different ideas for things I want to write. And as I complete them, I cross them off. And as I get more, I add to the list. And the craziest thing is, I will get the majority of my ideas for anything I write, usually while I'm working out. Like, some people get it in the shower, some people get it doing dishes. I get it when I'm like 67 burpees deep into a set of 100 and I don't want to do anymore. And then suddenly I get an idea and I have to pause and write it down. And then before I know it, I've written 4 pages. So that is my flow trigger for people who are into flow state. That's my flow trigger. And so far, it has not failed me. Like, if I need something to get me out of a funk, if I need something to get me out of a brain fog, I'll start hitting burpees, and they usually work.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about indeed. That's usually one of the best times for creativity to pop out. Do some workouts, get your sweat on. That's right indeed.
Mhm.
That's right indeed. When you sweat, you get those impurities out of you. And your brain's like, oh, I guess I can wake up now from a stupor. Some toxins are leaving the body. Yeah, that's right indeed. I need you to go forth and write a book about turban wearing penguins on top of a camel taking over the Sahara Desert. That's right indeed. And we will find a giant ice cream cake in a wonderful oasis. That's right indeed. It'll be a whale of a ice cream cake. That's right
I'll
indeed.
have to be a whale. It's the only ice cream cake I know is the whale.
That's right indeed. And then when the camel sees the humpback whale, to be like, "Oh God, I thought I was the king of the hump."
Now wait a minute, you're talking camel or dromedary? Because then you got warring desert beasts there. You got the one hump or the two. You got they'd both be confused.
Triple threat match: dromedary camels and the humpback whale fighting for hump supremacy. That's right. Who will be the humpiest hump of them all? Do the Humpty Hump.
Oh, that's good. Depend entirely on environment at that point. Get him in like a water park when he's on humpback whale. Camel's not going to know what to do with himself. Get him
It's
in
like,
the
what?
desert. The humpback whale might just flop over and pin him for the 3 count, and then he's done. But that would be a luck. That would be a lucky sell.
Yeah, that's right indeed. That's right indeed. That's right indeed. So my goodness, so with all the creativity that you got and those ideas you've jotted down over the magical years, I imagine, is there plans for another book?
Yes, there is. I'm writing a fiction book right now, and then I've started drafting up another short nonfiction book about that tentatively is called How to Be Hype, which is basically about generating excitement in your life. Just things to think of to do that. Very short. In the back of my brain for a couple months now. I think I'm going to bring it to life this month. But the fiction book that's been on the slow cooking for a couple of years now. It's going to be a little while longer, but it's in progress.
Ah, me like you. All right. So there you go. Be your own hype machine. I love it. So as I'm
Yep,
talking about indeed. They say don't
good.
believe the hype. Well, too bad. We got a cult leader of hype here, Stephanie. That's right indeed. You gotta believe in the hype now, baby.
You got to be your own cheerleader. You got to hype yourself up for your own life. Got to believe that you can do amazing things, and then amazing things will happen.
Ah, that's right indeed. That's right indeed. Woohoo! Well, definitely looking forward to reading both books and adding those to the collection. Indeed, that's right indeed. Any taste of what to expect from the fiction novel?
It's going to involve. It's going to be YA, so it's going to be for 13 and up, but adults can read it too. Whatever argument you have about that, that's a entirely different podcast, entirely different time. But for the most part, it's going to be YA. It's going to be based in a fantasy setting. So castles and magic and all this kind of stuff. And it's going to have a whole bunch of interesting themes, including how to manage anger, how to manage resentment, and how to evolve past generational trauma.
Me luck indeed. Sounds like it's gonna be a good, fun, exciting read indeed for definitely all ages 13 and up. Because funny enough, a lot of folks in my network, some of them actually prefer YA fiction because it's more exciting, even though some of the books are thicker. Like the adult fiction, they sometimes drone on too long and have too much fluff and never get to the points.
There is definitely a difference between your literary fiction, your YA fiction, and your popular fiction. So this is meant to be, again, when you think with your reader in mind, I'm writing this book because I have a niece and I want my niece to be able to handle some feelings that she's going to have when she gets older. And I don't want her to handle them the way that I did when I was her age and just kind of clam up. So I'm writing this book for her and others like her and anybody else who just has difficulties managing and expressing anger and resentment.
So you heard that right, folks. Don't be like Steph. Don't drop kick your classmates when you're 13. That's right, indeed.
I love this alternate universe stuff that you've got going on right there. I approve of her. I probably would have been a much more exciting kid if I had dropped kicked some of my classmates at 13. Instead, I
Well, you
got
can't
best
confirm or
writer for this.
deny.
I think I got best smile. That was like the yearbook highlight was I got best smile, which is like whatever. Here you go, kid.
Hey, well, you're married for a reason. It's a magnet. That's right indeed. It's like, oh, Ray, I got a smiling face next to me. Hooray. She's positive. Hooray. That's right indeed. She's fun. It's a win.
That is true. That is true. My husband calls me a walking rainbow with legs. So she's like a rainbow.
That's right indeed. That's right indeed. She got the gold for a reason. And if I'm not mistaken, did you actually win an award for best writer in your school days, your grade school days too?
To the best of my recollection, I never won an award. I was a writer for my school newspaper, and I wrote a chapbook of poetry in high school, which I did get to read at the Dodge Poetry Festival back many years ago, and I'm not going to mention how many years ago.
Just 12. I got you.
That is incredibly sweet. Points for you.
So I'm talking about indeed. That's right, indeed. Yeah, folks usually enjoy some form of writing in their younger years. That's right, indeed. Even if it was a dream that was dashed or never even realized because they didn't have the right encourager. That's right, indeed. That's right, indeed.
Precisely.
That's right, indeed. So, my goodness, so your fabulous book, Change the World in $10 or Less. If that wonderful book were a food, what would it be and why?
Oh, it'd be a charcuterie. It would be a charcuterie plate because there is just a little bit of everything in this book. Different ways to help yourself, to help your community, to help the planet, to care for animals, and some deep thoughts as you go along your own journey. And the key is you pick out the pieces that you want all together, you have an enjoyable experience, but no one bite will ever be exactly the same. Because as you move through, the way you experience something one time will be different from the way you experience it another time, simply because your mind has been opened up to the possibility of new and exciting experiences.
That's right, indeed. I could tell you prepared. She already had an answer for that one. That's what I'm talking about, indeed. That's right,
I love a good
indeed.
charcuterie.
Yes, indeed. You're probably the second or third one to mention their book as a charcuterie board. I'm like, all right, cool. That's right, indeed. So someone's got twins or triplets. That's right, indeed.
Well, those are fun. Those are like a choose your own adventure, but it's your own life. like, like you go to the Scholastic Book Fair, you get your choose your own adventure, you get to read 5 different stories from the same book. It's a bargain. With this, it's like, I get to choose what I do today. Do I choose my normal everyday route to work, or do I swing by this path and maybe look at some flowers and inspire myself to do better work today?
There we go. That's right. Choose your own adventure, y'all. That's right, indeed. That's right,
Mhm.
indeed. It's either see the triple threat hump supremacy match or go to the Arctic zone and see a polar bear fight a whole gang of penguins, 1,000 penguins, and see who will reign supreme. That's right, indeed. That's right, indeed. The winner will be able to take over Santa's village and have his sleigh. That's right, indeed. And then they
The
will
reindeer would
slay
have
the
something to
day.
say about that. The reindeer would have some words about that. They might put up a fight, and they've got air power, so I wouldn't count them out.
Uh, I guess that's a new meaning to the reindeer games then.
like Thunderdome, but for Christmas.
There you go. The Hunger Games Nature Edition at the North Pole, baby.
3 species enter, only one emerges. Victorious.
Rudolph, your red nose better not turn on. We need you, baby. don't don't let him know where our position is. There's a
Oh,
thousand penguins.
that nose would be a liability so quick. I'll have to do the predator, cover himself in mud, snow, or whatever they've got up there.
Right, indeed. And then, God forbid, the penguins to make together a giant spear bomb of a snowball, and then all the deer together in unison say, "Oh dear."
Gosh. Oh, just yeah. I just cue it. Cue the explosions. Movie's over. That's it. The pun that ended the movie. That was it.
That's right, indeed. Some say one and done. Well, one and pun.
Oh gosh. Oh no, I'm having trouble with the Zoom. Oh god, no.
That's right, indeed. Let's write down 6. Day 1 stuff, indeed. They are the 2s, and we are the puns. I mean the 1s. That's right, indeed.
Well, this conversation has been punderful, but it's time.
Yeah, you thought this was a podcast interview.
I was really convinced. What with the microphone and everything you got going on, you had me. You had me.
So indeed told you it was a trap. You sure you wanted to accept the portal invitation? Like, oh yeah, going north is a great name. Oh god, this puns.
Now, Pie Match has been great. I've loved every single one I've been on so far. This one's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, well, good. All right. So if you and your husband see corn cobs on your doorknobs tomorrow, you know what happened.
Got it. Noted.
It just means the jokes are so corny, you saw corn everywhere. Well, anyway, we're going down to the magical question that every guest gets to receive. And that is if you don't wake up tomorrow and you're 25 again, but you're still in the current year, what advice would you give to yourself?
Keep going and do burpees. Keep going and do burpees. When I was 25, I actually got really on a run kick. Like I did a 10K and I did a 5K and I really hurt my knees. So I would say stop with the running, stick to burpees till you get 100 of them. You'll feel a lot better. And keep doing what you're doing because you're doing fine.
Ah, there you go, indeed. That's right, indeed. That's right, indeed. That's right, indeed. Do burpees, y'all. That's right, indeed. Keep going. That's right, indeed. Do those burpees, indeed. Well, that's, it's actually interesting listening to folks who are further ahead in the game of life in terms of chronological age and decades and whatnot, who may have did running in early years. Like, oh God, running. Japanese freaking hated running. It's like, dude, do something else. Like, forget running. Hurt your knees like hell.
Yeah, no, the only reason why I took up running is because I thought I'd lose weight. It's like that's never a good reason. You should do it because it makes your brain feel good. There shouldn't be anything else. Just does it make your brain feel good? Yes or no? If the answer is no, stop it. So pick up the burpees and keep doing what you're doing because you're doing fine. I wish I had someone telling me I was doing fine when I was 25 and I wouldn't have questioned myself as much.
Ah, there you go. That's right, indeed. Well, she's fabulous now, and she's helping others to be and stay fabulous too. So, for those who need to actually forget running in life, you need to run to your website though and keep up with all the stuff that you're doing and cheer you on burpee style. What's the best way for folks to do so?
You can go to my website, stephaniecansian.com, or check me out on Instagram, slcansian.
Woohoo! There you go, folks. Right, Dave. Follow the great Steph on all of her handles indeed, the wonderful IGs. That's right, indeed. Check out our wonderful website. Copies of our magical books. That's right, indeed. Share it with your friends, family, cat, penguin, dog. Heck, if you even got a dog, cat, a dog and a cat together, share with both of them. That's right, indeed. So they can meow and wolf at the same time. They'll call it a wolf owl.
And a mute would
A
be a
mew.
mute. A mute.
A mew.
Let me guess, that's Pokemon number 2,953.
You catch the Pokemon, I'll catch the puns. We'll catch them all.
I caught the first 352. I was done after that. I tapped out.
So you can't blaze a Ken 352 more, huh?
No, now I'm done. I memorized enough names and transformations. There's only so much room in my brain.
Oh, God. Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's enough right there. Yeah. 352. God. Yeah, there's a rabbit hole that could pop open, but I won't go down that route. So my goodness, so yes, indeed, folks, we're gonna put links to Stephanie's stuff in the show notes. That way you can get up with the journey, subscribe to her email list, indeed. So that way you can get some good emails, and the master can show you how to chisel your own wonderful statue of David, email marketing style, indeed. So my goodness, Steph, any parting words before we close up shop?
You are the one who gets to decide when you kickstart your personal revolution. It could be today, it could be tomorrow, it could be next week, but you are the one who ultimately decides. And I highly encourage you to do it. So that's your side. Kickstart your personal revolution.
If you're hearing this part of the episode, that means you're one cool individual. Thanks a bunch for tuning in, and if you enjoyed what you heard, be sure to share it with at least one other person in your network. Bonus points for 3. And be sure to check out the backlog too while you're at it, because there are hundreds of wonderful episodes to choose from as well.